staff and some of the young people who are going to be working here, who already are working here. Now, when I was a child, I had a wonderful book, a much-thumbed Ladybird book called The Story of Nuclear Power. It was published in 1972, and I used to go through it again and again, and I was enthralled to read how scientists split the atom here in the UK for the first time, and they did it at the Cavendish laboratories in Cambridge, and I noted that the world's first civilian nuclear reactor, the first civilian nuclear power station, was at Calder Hall in Cumbria, now of course Sellafield. And I look back at the optimism that you see on every page of that book, and I look at what has happened since, and at the short-termism of successive British governments and their failure to do justice to our pioneering nuclear history, and their abject failure to think of the needs of future generations, above all of the families that are today struggling with the cost of energy in this country. And I feel like one of those beautifully drawn illustrations in that Ladybird book of what happens in a nuclear pile when the graphite rods are taken out at the wrong moment, and my blood starts to boil and steam comes out of my ears, and I think I'm going to melt down. And I ask myself the question, what happened to us? When Sizewell opened in 1966, it was the 8th reactor that this country had built in just 7 years. Why have we never got back to that kind of rhythm? Have we lost the gumption and dynamism of our parents and grandparents? It gets worse. When Sizewell B, fantastic white dome, was completed in 1995, it was the 5th reactor in 7 years. Now, remember, 1995, an era that was technologically so primitive that people used to use things called car phones and went down to Blockbusters to rent VHS videos. Think of the colossal technical progress in other areas and contrast the paralysis in British nuclear energy. How many new nuclear power stations have we built in the 27 years since? How many have been connected to the grid? How many slices of bread can we toast with the additional nuclear power we've created? How many washing machines can we power? How many families have been helped with extra nuclear energy? The answer is none. Zero. Zilch. The French, who have loads of nuclear power stations already, have built 4 more since 1995, bringing their total reactor fleet up to about 56. The Indians have added about 12. The Chinese have built more than 50 additional nuclear reactors since 1995. And you know why we failed? It's not even as though we have some cultural aversion to nuclear power. I mean, I just met those nice protesters outside. It wasn't kind of Atomkraft Nein Danke. There wasn't some lefty thing. They seem to be objecting to the disruption to the roads. It's pure NIMBYism out there. That's not the issue. I will diagnose the problem. It's called myopia. It's called short-termism. It's a chronic case of politicians not being able to see beyond the political cycle. For 13 years, the previous Labour government did absolutely nothing to develop this country's nuclear industry. They said it didn't make economic sense. I think they even said that in their manifesto. Well, thanks a bunch, Tony, and thanks a bunch, Gordon. Tell that to British businesses and industries that are now desperately short of affordable and reliable electricity. Tell that to families that are struggling with the cost of heat and light this winter.